Incredible day, family. Welcome to the Your Perspective Matters podcast. I am your host, Ronald Wynn, and on today, I have a very powerful episode. I have a lot of notes, and I have some things that I want to get off my chest, right? There is something that I'm realizing that we're just not getting this one thing right. Like, we're still getting it wrong. I was talking to my boss the other day, and he made me realize that communication is probably the biggest issue in the world. Like, regardless of all the things that we're going through, I think that's the one thing that trumps all of our issues, right? It's the root of it, right? It's the foundation on what we build on, yet our foundation is shaky. I want you to sit with that, right? It's what leads to the flow of everything, but we're not necessarily receiving. So now we're literally stopped because our foundation, our communication is not what it's supposed to be. And I want to fix that. So here's a quote that I want to give you really quickly. Number one, your mouth is the key to your blessings or the key to burdens. So which one do you want to have? Now, for me, bless me all day, every day, right? I am very intentional with making sure, like, personal development is what helps shape my mouth, is what helps shape the things that come out my mouth, when to say it, how to say it, why I need to say it, and then also being able to reciprocate it or more so get it back, right? Your words stacked can be a skyscraper of problems or a skyscraper of purpose. And especially someone coming from being from faith based, I want to make sure that I have a skyscraper of purpose. I want to make sure that my words leads to productivity, my words leads to healing, my word leads to strength, rejuvenation, right? My words leads to momentum, building momentum, continuing momentum, all the things. And regardless of the outcome, you chose it. Because nobody made you say it but you, literally, right? So you chose it. If I offended somebody in this moment, here's what I got to say to you. Welcome to the Your Perspective Matters podcast, where we focus on having uncomfortable conversations that leads to growth. And quite frankly, this is a sorry, not sorry moment because I'm not about to, what's the word? I specifically want to speak truth. I specifically want to speak my perspective as well because it matters. But I need, like, there is literally an irritation with me when it comes to this because we have all these issues and not realizing that it's literally coming from our mouth. It's literally coming from the things that come out of it, right? So if you don't fix how you communicate, it will keep you in seasons that should have been over with. I'm gonna say that again. If you don't fix how you communicate, it will keep you in seasons that should have been dealt with a long time ago. Like, you ever felt like you was just stuck in a season where it's just repeating itself and it's like, why is this happening over and over again? Like, what is there any momentum? Am I moving? What's going on here? Why am I seeing the same situation over? It's because of your mouth. It's because you're not communicating well and communicating properly. So, and I want to be honest, right? Just because I'm giving you this information, I don't want you to think that I'm perfect because I'm far from it. Although I'm very intentional with the words that come out of my mouth, right? Personal development literally helped me to steer how I communicate and why I need to communicate, right? There is an effectiveness to when you communicate to others, right? It gives off a different aura, it gives off a different energy, and you receive. Like there is a reciprocation when you give it when you give. Ironically, that's a couple things that I want to talk to in the future. So before I get there, I want you to understand that um it doesn't only affect me, right? Like I think the issue with communication is that people talk like it only affects them. Like, let's be real. There's so many people that are the nonchalant people or the people that just, hey, I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. And they're thinking that it only affects them. But I had a reality check long time ago, and I'm pretty sure some of you have as well, that it doesn't only affect you, right? It also affects those that are in proximity. So you have to, with every word that comes out your mouth, you have to make sure that you are aware of the people, your surroundings, and your environment, because they are going to consume the words that comes out of your mouth. And I want to go back to a previous episode, right? Shout out to those that have been tapped in with me since day one. This analogy, rather, has been brought up a few times in my podcast, and I just want to dive a little deep in this one, right? And it's the giver and the receiver. If you tapped in before, just type in the comments, I'm tapped in, I'm tapped in, I'm tapped in, right? The giver and the receiver. And I spoke about this prior. So the giver is the one that speaks, while the receiver is the one that listens, right? The giver is the one that speaks, the receiver is the one that listens. So my question to you is, which one are you? Now, the answer to that really just depends on the time in the conversation, because the reality is you play both, or rather, you will play both. Not necessarily at the same time, but in a conversation, it is reciprocal, right? So, in a conversation, you have to play the giver at some point, and then it flips where you have to be the receiver. You have to be the person that speaks versus being the person that listens, right? And we face two issues with this, right? Issue number one, when it comes to the giver and the receiver, is that we want to play one side, aka the giver, right? We only just want to give, we only just want to speak. You want to talk all your mess and do all of the things, but you have to realize a conversation goes both ways, right? So you're not going to be, yes, it's okay that you can do your giving, but you got to be intentional with what you're giving out, right? On the flip side of that, the second issue we face is there's a level of confusion, because many times we don't even know when to play either role. We don't know when to listen, and we don't know when to speak. Many of us have been silent when it was moments where we were supposed to let go words, versus there were times where we made so much noise when we was actually supposed to be silent and listen. I hope this is speaking to somebody today, because the root of your issues, the reason why you haven't propelled the way you wanted to go, the reason why you haven't been successful in the things that you felt like should have already happened, the reason why you're in cycles right now, is because you got to fix your language. It's because you got to fix the fact that you're not communicating well. You have to own that. And it's okay if you aren't doing the best of communication, that's why you're here. That's why you are on the Your Perspective Matters podcast. Because we want to face this uncomfortable truth and be able to grow. So here's a few things, right? Because I want this to really, really make sense, right? Um, with the confusion of playing either role, we want to receive, but our actions are saying giving, right? And we want to give when our actions are saying receive, meaning that we want to speak when we're supposed to listen, we're supposed to listen when we're supposed to speak. What happens when that confusion happens is we end up doing both wrong. Ouch. I know for sure for myself, there's been many times where I've done both wrong. There's been many times where because I'm this person that I understand my value. It's taken me a while, some years to get to be the person that I am now. So I focus everything on value, right? That's what I want to give off. I want to give value to people. But I had to realize that just because I want to give value doesn't mean that I need to be given value in that moment. For an example, and this actually happens often with a lot of the older people where they want to give you wisdom. And for me, I just want to give value. So I had a situation the other day where with all the things he was saying that I already knew, I had to just humble myself and be quiet and take it in. Because how often are we having people that just want to genuinely pour into you and not get anything back? They don't ask for nothing. It doesn't come with the cost, right? So I humbled myself to play my role in listening while also allowing somebody else to be effective in theirs. Like, and it was such a beautiful moment. Like when I tell you, just allowing older people to just pour into you the way they do because they've had substantial amount of years in this world, and it's cool, right? So I had to humble myself with that. But I wanna give you a quick little analogy really quickly, right? I cannot associate giving with listening and receiving with speaking. Say that again. I cannot associate giving with listening and receiving with speaking. That's like associating eating with creating and cooking with consuming. Exactly. It don't go together, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I want to break it down just a little bit more with communication, right? Going back to it, giver is the one that speaks. Receiver is the one that listens. Giver has to be conscious of what comes out of their mouth. I want to pause for a second, right? Because the issue with us being givers is we're not conscious of what comes out of our mouth. We don't care, once again, that it affects others when it actually affects everybody that you are around. Your words cut deep. Your words can heal or it can hurt. Your words can build or it can become a burden. So you have to be intentional with what am I saying out of my mouth to these people or to this person. You have to be conscious. Why? Because there is like I had to realize that with me speaking the way I speak, I've literally changed lives. Like you can save somebody's life. There is someone that have been facing depression and you have a word, but if you hold on to it and don't say nothing, or if you just say it however you want to say it and not be conscious of the other person, then they're not going to receive. What's the point of giving if the other person that you're giving to cannot receive it, right? Then the other side, when it comes to receiving, right? I said the giver has to be conscious of what comes out of their mouth. The receiver has to be conscious of what goes into their ears. So you have to protect your ears. What are you listening to? Are you listening to motivational things? Are you listening to things that limit you? Are you listening to things that degrade you? Or are you listening to things that build you up? And quite frankly, many times it's really just people. Who are you listening to? Right? And this information, I promise you, is not unfamiliar. You're going to hear this throughout the whole entire year from substantial amount of people, that we have to focus on our giving practices as well as our receiving practices. I had a brain fart just now. But nonetheless, giver, focus on what comes out of your mouth. Receiver, focus on what goes into your ears. The giver has to be conscious of their words being received. So another issue or problem that we face is that we talk and don't care that about it being received. What is the point? That means that you're talking to a brick wall. That means that you're talking at a person and not with a person. That means that you're just talking to make noise. And we don't need none of that. Like, deuces, like you're wasting time doing all of that extra when you can be purposeful and make sure that your words achieve the mission that it was supposed to achieve, right? When it comes to the receiver has to be conscious of who gives into their ears. So I have to be selective of the people that I'm in proximity with, that I allow to speak into me. Because they can speak illness. They can speak limiting thoughts. They can speak me out of my own blessings. They can speak me out of my purpose. They can speak me out of what I prayed to get into. Like, I don't think y'all I don't think y'all realize how powerful being able to be aware and alert about receiving and giving. Like, I'm so passionate about this because I need to make sure, like, I know my superpower is communication, right? I know my superpower is being able to help others by having conversations. So if you've been around me before, you know that you feel a little better. You feel more powerful. You feel more stronger. You feel 1% better than before you came to me. It's because I'm intentional with what I say. But it's also I'm intentional with what I'm being fed. Because what pours into me comes directly out. Right? And his word is said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So the more I pour into myself through the ears, it eventually saturates into your heart. And as it saturates into your heart, it automatically ends up coming out of your mouth. So you can vomit disgusting words, or you can be intentional and give life through it. Which one do you want? Do you want to stay where you're at, or do you want to move forward? Because sometimes it has to deal with the maturity. The reason why you're at where you're at is because you're not mature, or what the older people would say, you're not mature enough. You're not mature enough to own up to the words that come out of your mouth. So are you willing on today to be able to be mature enough to be intentional with allowing my words, or your words rather, to be received, right? Understand that you always have to be ready to play either side. There are moments where you're ready to give, and it's like, this person, what they really need is a listener. They really need a receiver. Like, this is big because I can speak from a man's perspective, that there's so many times as a man we just want to be heard. We too suffer depression. We too go through things. We too have an opinion. We too have perspective. But we can't lead the way we want to if nobody creates the space for us to be heard. Mm. Woo! So you gotta be, whether you're a woman or man, whoever you are, you have to be ready to play either side. Because then vice versa, as a man, sometimes we know, hey, I want to just play the receiver, but I don't got nobody to pour into me. Jeez. That hits me because that's been me several of times. Like, you know how they say, like, you know that you are the good friend. You know that you're the loyal one. You know that people can depend on you to show up. People can depend on you when they are going through things, that they need a word, and they know that they can get it from you. But what happens when you can't really get it from those that you're giving it to? So I ask, for the sake of others, and if you don't care about anybody else, for the sake of me, I'm gonna raise both my hands, right? For the sake of me, get it together and be ready to play both sides. That's how communication works, right? It's reciprocal, it's mutual, it's equally yoked, because there's a target that we got to go after, right? And we want to be on the same path. We can't move forward if we're not on the same page. Like, that results in us literally going nowhere, because you're pulling and I'm pushing. I'm pushing and you're pulling. What, we just gonna have a tug of war the whole day? Nah. We need to make sure that we're going somewhere. I need to understand what you're saying, as well as you need to understand what I'm saying. I need to be open enough to receive, as well as you need to be open enough to receive, right? You ever spoke to someone like you're just giving them your all? I'm talking like heavy emotion, elite details, explicit, well, I'm not explicit, but intentional details, right? I use the wrong word, but intentional details, right? You're taking your time to carry the story and explain, and then you realize that this person that you was giving to, this person that you was speaking to, did not listen to nothing that you said. Oh my God. It grinds my gears. Like, you didn't, you gonna make me, like, it's so irritating when you just go through all of that and then they ask you a question that you took your time to explain, so they don't have the question to begin with. I'm just like, bruh, are you serious? Right? It's irritating, right? It's one of the worst feelings in the world, right? And on the opposite side, you ever felt like you needed a word from someone, but the person that you allowed to give you the word, they end up feeding you poison rather than healing you? Oh my goodness. Like, and it baffles me how many people are unaware that they do this, that they're poisoning the person that they think that they're speaking life to. Mm-mm. You got to be aware of this, guys. We got to be intentional with this. We got to be focused and we got to be ready. Man, I could go like super, super, super deep, but we're not gonna go there because I'm running out of time. But in that moment, you feel like, man, this is why I stay to myself. Like, this is why I don't talk to nobody. I'm sorry, I felt that one because I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Woo, that one hit. That one hit. Welcome to the Your Perspective Matters podcast. Because it's like, I need y'all to know that it is very critical of being able to create these kind of spaces. To be able to create a space where somebody is able to be healed. Like I heard what's his name, Dr. Darius Daniels, he just came out with not necessarily an episode, but he spoke on somebody's podcast and he was talking about how his wife didn't heal him. She created the space and the environment for him to heal. That's what we as givers and receivers need to focus on. I want to create a space for somebody to be able to give to me properly, as well as creating a space for me to be able to receive properly. There's a level of humbleness that comes with that. There's a level of growth that comes with that. There's a level of uncomfortability that comes with that. You're not going to be comfortable all the time. I promise you that. That's why we're here with the podcast, because uncomfortability breeds growth. So I need you to understand that communication needs to be effective on both sides. I need you to understand that being the giver is just as important as being the receiver. And being the receiver is just as important as being the giver. This episode was meant to make you aware that you got to take your communication to the next level, because it is the root and the foundation of what you need to build on for the rest of 2026. Family, this is the end of my episode. I appreciate you guys for listening and tuning in. If you haven't heard it on yesterday, if you haven't heard it last week or even at all this year, I need you to know that I care about you. I need you to know that I love you. I need you to know that you got this. And we are stronger together than we are separate. Family, let's communicate. Let's focus on growth. And if you haven't married me yet, if you're still dating me, let's end the dating stage. Let's focus on marriage. And I need you to click that like and subscribe button. Become a subscriber, because I have so much more perspective to give you. Even an extension to this episode, right? Soon I'm going to be able to give to you and offer you some more things that I think It's going to take us to the next level. But until then, family, be blessed and have an amazing rest of your year. Why? Because your perspective matters.